President.
Senator from New Jersey.
Mr. President, let me begin by recognizing the hard work and dedication of my friend from South Dakota, Chairman Johnson, for his tireless leadership on this legislation that made it possible to happen. Let me also recognize the ranking member, Senator Shelby, for his efforts to work in an incredibly positive, cooperative, and bipartisan manner that, in fact, created the ultimate result of a unanimous bipartisan vote, something that we'd love to see more of these days. And it was his work, along with the chairman's, that got us to that point. I'm glad to have added to that as the subcommittee chair as well. Mr. President, millions of Americans take over 10 billion transit trips a year. Now, it's taken over 2 years of hard work and is part of an overall bill that creates or saves 2 million jobs, but those trips and the jobs that get created by it and the opportunity of people to get to employment, to get to a hospital, to go see family and friends are incredibly important in the context of our national economy. At a time when job creation is essential, it invests in every state to keep us competitive as a nation in a global marketplace. Under this legislation, for example, my home state of New Jersey stands to receive about $519 million in federal transit funding without any increase in federal spending. This bill cuts waste and eliminates earmarks so that New Jersey will see benefits from a $63 million increase in transit funding, more transit funding than in any previous year. This bill invests in our infrastructure and improves public transportation without increasing the federal budget. And it provides more funds to make the improvements states need to ease congestion and mitigate transportation delays. It's good for America because it will help communities concentrate on smart growth around transit hubs that mirror my Livable Communities Act and my state's Transit Village program that will help make New Jersey attractive to businesses and a model job creation hub. It can do that for other communities throughout the nation. It's good because it's energy smart and increases competitive funding for clean fuel transit vehicles to help agencies switch from dirty, expensive fuels to cleaner, cheaper fuels. And it not only streamlines the process for federal approval of new transit projects, but it will help upgrade older systems by adding a new station or another track or a bigger train car to increase capacity rather than having to build new systems from scratch. It also includes a provision establishing a program to allow public transportation providers temporary flexibility during periods of high unemployment to use a limited portion of their federal funds for up to 2 years, provided they meet the established criteria for operating expenses. And one last but perhaps the most important thing the bill accomplishes, it provides for a strong federal role in transit safety oversight by establishing a national public transportation safety plan to improve the safety of all public transportation systems that receive federal funding. Under this legislation, the Secretary will develop minimum performance standards for vehicles used in public transportation and establish a training program for federal and state employees who conduct safety audits of public transportation systems. Fundamentally, this bill improves the effectiveness of state safety oversight agencies and increases federal funding for safety and provides new enforcement authority over public transportation safety to the Secretary of Transportation. At the end of the day, making our transit system as safe as humanly possible in every state, from coast to coast, must be a national priority. So let me conclude, Mr. President, by saying once again, thanks to Senators Johnson and Shelby for their leadership for the last 2 years. I think the bill is a victory for every American community. It's a common-sense investment that will create jobs, keep this nation competitive, make our communities more productive, accessible, and livable. It's a victory for those who believe that we can create jobs, get people back to work, and keep us on the cutting edge of a global economy. So now we need to make sure that we continue to reach across the aisle, as the chairman and the ranking member and I have done during this process, and get this investment in America's future to the President's desk and sign into law as soon as possible.